a significant interest in the humanitarian services being displayed. This led to the two parties forging a strong friendship and working together to provide more humanitarian aid
The free
to the
medical,
local community.
I have witnessed so many times that this thing is happening. And given that free medical has also helped, let me also cast you back to 2020 during COVID-19. The government of Kaduna State, under my ministry, Ministry of Human Services and Social Development, had a collaboration with AMA Foundation, and they also gave the Almajiri children free medical services. So that was even the time that we came together, and today as I'm speaking to you, AMA Foundation and Kaduna State government are also rehabilitating some of the Almajiri schools. So you see, the collaboration has come a long way.
The Sa'in of Laria Mohammed Yusuf, who was also present to witness the unique event, shared testimonies as the humanitarian services being piloted by the AMA Foundation cut across his immediate community.
It's a charity foundation that has been helping the community and the society at large, and part of what they do, they give free medical assistance to people, and they give free education, especially to the less privileged. Honestly, I'm very happy, excited, and I'm very, very grateful to God that allow Alhaji Musa Bello to have this wonderful intervention in our community.
The Aminu Musa Abdusalam Foundation has provided free medical care for 10 continuous years without a break.
So what you're witnessing here, it's a screening process for eye treatment. The patients come in, they get their eyes reviewed, and then those who need glasses will be given reading glasses, and those who need cataract surgery, because we have a program in during Ramadan. We've been doing it for the last 10 years, and at Sultan Bello Mosque. So for the 29 to 30 days of Ramadan, we'll be there and we'll be screening eyes, and then at the end of the last week we'll have cataract surgeries. So people that are also seen here and that might need cataract surgeries will also be booked for surgery for the end of April.
The website of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has crashed amid the commencement of its requirement. Checks by newsmen as of 11:41 a.m. on Monday revealed that the agency's website indicated 500 internal server errors. The agency recruitment application began Sunday and was expected to last for 2 weeks. However, for hours now, applicants have not been able to access the website, and the Director of Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, confirmed the development but explained that it is due to glitches resulting from traffic on the website. A passenger said to be a Nigerian national identified as Abdullahi died mid-flight on a Doha-bound Indigo flight, forcing it to make an emergency landing at the Karachi International Airport. The airport medical staff at the Jinnah International Airport declared the 60-year-old Nigerian passenger dead upon arrival. The pilot of flight 6E1736 requested permission to make an emergency landing. When the Nigerian passenger on board felt unwell, his health quickly worsened and he died mid-air. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, News Plus continues. Still on News Plus, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Monday reserved judgment on Osun State governorship appeal filed by Governor Ademola Adeleke. The appeal filed by Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party is against the judgment of the tribunal which invalidated his election as governor of Osun State. The three-member panel of justices led by Justice M.F. Shuaibu began sitting on the appeal at about 10 a.m. while Adeleke is the appellant, Oyetola and the All Progressive Congress are first and second respondent in the appeal. The Independent National Electoral Commission and the PDP are also joined as third and fourth respondents, respectively. Now, the Akwa Ibom State government has announced the suspension of all levies and daily tickets to tricycle and minibus operators in Uyo Metropolis. A statement by the State Commissioner of Transport, Uno Etim Uno, on Monday said the gesture was to cushion the ongoing cash crunch and other challenges suffered by transporters as a result of the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The government notified all operators of tricycles and minibuses as well as the monitoring unit of the development and possible compliance. And the All Progressive Congress candidate for Governor Ambassador Sadiq Baba Abubakar has won the support of the National Union of Bauchi State Students who previously supported the People's Democratic Party administration. This is because, in their opinion, the PDP-led government has failed to look out for the students' best interest. Students expressed confidence that Sadiq Abubakar Baba, a retired chief of air staff, will revitalize the education sector and restore students' hope at an interactive session conducted in the state capital to promote the APC candidate. Bauchi State correspondent Awa Hassan completes the story.
The National Union of Bauchi State Students, NUBAS, expressed their displeasure with the current People's Democratic Party PDP's administration for failing to look out for their welfare and pay adequate attention to the educational sector.
Because this government doesn't have concern for students. They don't pay scholarship, they don't pay for JAM, they don't pay for WAEC, they don't pay for NICO. So these students decided to support Air Marshal Baba Sadiq Abubakar. There are so many dilapidated schools in the 20 local government of the state. Poor infrastructure everywhere. If you see, just day before yesterday, our candidate of APC visited one school at where Makabi. If you see the school, you can't believe it's within Bauchi Metropolis.
Comrade Salature said the aim of the gathering was to endorse the gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, Ambassador Sadiq Abubakar, whom they believe has the zeal of transformation in the educational sector of the state.
What calls for this meeting is the students gathered to endorse our candidate of APC, Ambassador Air Marshal Baba Sadiq Abubakar, because of the good intention he has for the education. Yes.
The present administration held in almost all the aspects of education. When it comes to the payment of the scholarship, the government failed. When it comes to strengthening the basic education, it fails. When it comes to the infrastructure of the school, when I say the school, I mean the buildings. Some of the buildings dilapidated. There are no experienced and professional teachers. Teachers are not getting their salaries on time, etc., etc. So the government failed. That's why we want the change in the government.
The group bemoans the People's Democratic Party PDP's inability to provide scholarship to students in Bauchi State under the current administration.
We are experiencing a very hike in the prices of the school fees and accommodation, and you know there is a general sufferness when it comes to the issue of foodstuff, and you know almost all the students that are studying in the public universities are children of the poor masses.
This government doesn't have concern for students. They don't pay scholarship, they don't pay for JAM, they don't pay for WAEC, they don't pay for NICO. So these students decided to support Air Marshal Baba Sadiq Abubakar. Just of recent, they told them to pay 1,500 for scratch card at the scholarship board, but up to now there was no payment.
They, however, pledged massive support to the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, Ambassador Sadiq Abubakar. Awal Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
Wildlife Conservation Society Nigeria has held a two-day capacity building training workshop on combating illegal wildlife trafficking and trade in Adamawa. The training, which took place in Yola, is targeted primarily for personnel of the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency (NESRA), the Ministry of Environment, and the Nigerian Customs Service. The report. Take a listen.
This training workshop, organized by the Wildlife Conservation Society Nigeria with support from Biodiversity Challenge Funds, aims to combat illegal wildlife trade in the Nigeria-Cameroon Green Corridor, and particularly in Adamawa State, Nigeria.
Anything that has a jurisdiction composition, right, and you take it somewhere, is illicit.
The two-day training session, facilitated by counter-wildlife trafficking advisor to the organization, Elisha Bello, identified Adamawa as very strategic in the combat against illegal wildlife trading because of its proximity to Cameroon and the Gashaka Gumti Reserve.
We invited the Nigerian Customs Service. Most of them came from Sahuda, Mubi, Maiha, and some of them from Yola here. And today we concentrate on the Nezria. And the Nezria, their mandate is almost similar with that of custom, but they are not paramilitary or government security forces, but they have the same mandate in countering wildlife trafficking. So the reason is to build their capacity as well, so that we will be able to work in collaboration with them to ensure that we tackle the illegal wildlife trafficking in the green corridor of Nigeria and Cameroon borders.
Apart from combating illegal wildlife trading, the training also aims to protect endangered species of wildlife in Nigeria and build the capacity of relevant law enforcement agencies along the routes frequently used by these traffickers.
Endangered species globally, it has been recognized, and we look at the peculiar species that we have in Nigeria, and as Nigeria as a country, we want to ensure that we protect those animals, and also we look at the nature of the business, looking at Nigeria serve as a transit for other illegal activities.
We are well aware that majority of these routes, as you have rightly said, are not just routes that lead to specific areas of the country, but they are used as transit routes. So it doesn't just, trafficking doesn't stop in one region, because when you are in transit, it means that what is passing through Adamawa State can actually end up in the east.
Feedback from the participating personnel show how timely and relevant this knowledge is, and how it would greatly enhance the effective discharge of their duties.
This will help us to sensitize the people of Adamawa to know that this trafficking, this wildlife trafficking that is going on, that is illegal, is unlawful.
This capacity building is particularly designed to give knowledge and capacity of all our staff here in Adamawa State, so that we can control or protect the environment better.
The training has benefited me a lot, because before I was not aware of the animals that are highly prohibited and the animals that are not supposed to be carried outside, as in the illegal and the illicit animals. But today, this training has made me to know all this.
With the knowledge gained so far, it is expected that in no distant time, there would be more incident reports that indicate a renewed fight against illegal wildlife trading within the Nigeria-Cameroon Green Corridor. Charles Doke, Viewer Television News.
A former governor of Bauchi State, Issa Yuguda, has explained that the election Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu will strengthen Nigeria's unity as a single nation, particularly by addressing some of the major security challenges in the nation, like banditry, kidnapping, and clashes between farmers and herders. Justifying his support for Tinubu, Yuguda says the president-elect has a solid plan for the country's development. While pleading with the Fulani to support the APC gubernatorial candidate, Awa Hassan from Bauchi State tells us more.
While speaking with the media in his home, the former governor of Bauchi State expressed his joy over Bola Ahmed Tinubu's election as the All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate, and thanked Nigerians for their overwhelming support.
I have to thank God and appreciate the people of Bauchi. We can see that they voted Asiwaju overwhelmingly, and they have rekindled hope in Nigeria, because it's a country that was, more like drifting, and Nigerians were becoming very, very, worried that if we can ever live together as one country. So you can see today we have a very strong, united country, and our next president who is being elected. So we have hope of surviving as a united country.
He nevertheless expressed hope that the incoming president will help Nigeria overcome its current security issues, particularly in the northern region of the country.
And I thank the Bauchi people after I've come and campaigned in every nook and cranny for Asiwaju. And they responded telling me that they thanked me for coming and they thanked me for educating them on who Tinubu is and why they should elect Tinubu. And as compensation for my good leadership, it is only now that I know I led people in Bauchi very well. Because they now tell me, they thank me and they are praying for me. And because of that, we are voting for Asiwaju. And they did. In fact, we are better than many of the APC states in terms of delivering Asiwaju.
The former governor suggested that voters support the APC in the next elections for the state governor, since, in his opinion, the People's Democratic Party's current administration has failed.
Worst case scenario, the government that took over from me would have maintained the infrastructure the way it was. Instead of saying, I want to construct it, I want to construct that. Let these services that have been made available to our people, let them continue enjoying the services. Let our children go to hospital and enjoy the under 5 medical facilities. Let our women enjoy, the free medication for pregnant women and sick women.
He therefore calls on people to come out in mass during the election. Awol Hassan, Zua TV News, Bauchi.
And on international, only a few survivors are left in the village of Mukundi, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where ADF militants hacked dozens of people to death during an attack this week. Fighters from Militia, which is aligned to the Islamic State group, killed over 40 people in Mukundi and a nearby village of Mausa, according to local officials. Some villagers described how they had welcomed the fighters before the killing started. Kavugo Tosongo, a 40-year-old farmer with from Mukundi, said the villagers initially thought the armed men who were wearing military fatigues were simply paying a visit. And thousands of protesters marched through London to British Prime Minister's residence to demand a better healthcare system in the UK. The protest, which was organized by healthcare workers and activists on Saturday, went off in the city centre and ended near the British Prime Minister's residence, just to support the healthcare workers who have held a series of strikes over bad pay conditions in the state-funded National Health Service. Participants were seen carrying placards as they chanted slogans and demanded better wages and working conditions. The development comes as almost 40,000 junior doctors who are an essential part of hospital care are set to go on a 3-day strike starting on Monday. Monday's upcoming strike would have a lasting impact on cancer care and waiting lists, the country's top doctor has said. Now, hundreds of thousands of people have rallied in cities across Israel for a 10th consecutive week protesting against plans by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government to curb the Supreme Court's power. Organizers said a record 500,000 people attended the rallies, making them some of the biggest in Israel's history. Media in Israel put the turnout at 250,000 to 300,000 people. The demonstrations come as Netanyahu's government prepares to press on with its legislative agenda next week, showing calls for a pause to allow for negotiations on the divisive judicial reforms. More than a million people marched as strikes disrupted transport and schools in France during protests against President Emmanuel Macron's plans to push back the retirement age to 64. Police used tear gas in Paris, and minor clashes also took place in the western city of Nantes. But the more than 260 union-organized rallies across the country were mostly peaceful. France's Senate voted late Saturday to approve a deeply unpopular reform to the country's pension system. And that's all on News Plus. Many thanks for watching. I am Deborah Ntukaife. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.